Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. A very good morning to all of you. Your Excellency, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. We have representatives from Ghana, Kenya, Colombia. We have reps from the UN, and we have development partners. We have friends from civil society. We welcome all of you to this high-level meeting. Well, today is a gathering that is determined to commit to political commitment to data. And I'm sure that we are all ready for the conversations that we'll be having this morning. We'd like to kick off, but not without me introducing myself. My name is Mama Vio Uswabwaji. It's a pleasure, it's a privilege to be emceeing this event. Please, let's welcome the government statistician, the Ghana government statistician, Dr. Alhassan Idris, the welcome address. He will explain to us why we are here. Shall we please put our hands together for him?
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, Honorable Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations, ably represented by Honorable Deputy Minister Mohammed Adams Suparu, CEO of Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, Dr. Claire Melamed, the UN Resident Coordinator, Mr. Zia Chaudhry, Principal Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Kenya, Dr. Koniru Singh Osei, His Excellency, the Ambassador of Colombia to Ghana, Daniel Garces Carabelli, members of the Diplomatic Corps, civil society, academia, private sector, and the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the government of Ghana and the Ghana Statistical Service, it is my honor to welcome you to this important gathering, a stepping stone towards the 2026 Global Data Festival in Nairobi. We are delighted to host you here in Accra today at a time when the power of data is shaping how nations design policies, track progress, and engage their citizens. Our theme today, driving data innovation, policy and South-South collaborations, reflects challenges and opportunities of our era. From climate change to inequality, the issues before us demand more than good intentions. They demand experience. They demand that we treat data not as numbers on a page, but as lifeblood of policy and the foundation of accountability. Ghana has long been a leading voice in the data transformation space, combining national leadership with active global engagement. The Ghana Statistical Service has worked to institutionalize data stewardship across government, making data not the business of one office, but as a shared responsibility across ministries, departments, and agencies. Over the past year, we have formalized 26 data sharing MOUs with government institutions, transforming the way administrative data inform policy. Secondly, we are pioneering inclusive data through citizen-generated approaches, blending digital tools with community voices to better track progress on goals such as gender equality and reduce inequalities. Thirdly, we are building a national statistics and policy observatory, a real-time evidence engine to guide dialogue and decision-making. And finally, but not the least, through our National Data Science Roadmap and government-wide training program, we are equipping every level of governance, from national to district, with the skills to use data effectively. These initiatives are framed by our Power of Data Action Plan and the forthcoming National Strategy for Development of Statistics Round 3, both of which embed data at the heart of national planning. Ladies and gentlemen, let me stress this, that Ghana is not working alone. South-South cooperations and collaborations is at the heart of our vision. Our efforts have already inspired reforms in countries like Sierra Leone, Togo, and Botswana. Together with global partners, we are proving that cooperation across Africa, Latin America, and Asia is not just possible, it is powerful. This meeting is therefore more than a dialogue. It is a platform to showcase innovations, forge new partnerships, and ensure that Africa's data stories take the rightful place on the global stage in Nairobi next year, where the main session will be held. Ladies and gentlemen, the question before us is very simple. Will we allow data to remain underused, or we harness it fully to build societies that are more inclusive, more resilient, and more just? The answer must be action. Action to invest in strong data system, action to collaborate across borders, and action to make data a true public good. With these few remarks, it is a good time to yield to my colleagues to make their remarks to pave the way for our keynote speaker, Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, to address us. Thank you, and Akwaba.
Can we please appreciate him again? That's Ghana's statistician. And now I would like to introduce to you the Global Partnership Sustainable Development Data Representative, Dr. Claire Melamed. She's actually the CEO. Please put your hands together for her.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Dr. Idrisu, for those fantastic remarks. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. And to your Excellency, Madam Vice President, a very warm welcome to you, with grateful thanks for your leadership, for your acceptance of our invitation to serve on the board of the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data. We are we are exceptionally grateful to you for accepting this invitation to work with us, for the demonstration of your commitment to this agenda and the global leadership that this will prove for Ghana on the international stage. It is such a privilege this morning to be back in Accra with colleagues from the government of Ghana, from Colombia, from Kenya, from the UN, from the private sector, civil society, and academia, and friends who've traveled from across Africa, Latin America, and beyond to be with us today. On behalf of the Global Partnership Network, let me first thank our host, the Ghana Statistical Service, for your leadership in bringing us together, and our partners, APC Colombia, the United Nations in Ghana, and of course my own team for all of their support in bringing us here today. We're here today to celebrate Ghana's long-standing leadership on data and to turn that momentum into collective action for our region and for the world. Moments like this and initiatives like this only happen when people in core institutions and the central parts of government are willing to lead, but also to open their doors and invite others to come in and build with them. And the government of Ghana has always done exactly that, pairing national reform with global leadership and proving that when partnership is real, progress inevitably follows. Most recently, as we heard, as one of the core partners in the Power of Data coalition, Ghana has shown how political leadership can drive coordination and critically results and create pathways for others to follow. The purpose of our gathering today is simple and ambitious. We want to strengthen political consensus on the role of data in policy and innovation. We want to showcase what is working right now on the ground. And we want to identify a small set of standout initiatives that we can lift onto a bigger stage so they attract investment, talent, attention, and replication. That bigger stage will be the Global Data Festival in Nairobi in June of next year, June the 2nd to the 5th, 2026, which will be co-organized with our partners and co-hosted with the government of Kenya. The Global Data Festival is a 4-day interactive event that will unlock the power of data, AI, and technology for our planet and for the people who live here. The festival brings together communities working on data governance, on Earth intelligence and space, alongside leaders from government, the private sector, civil society, and research. Its focus is very practical. We will put inclusion first. We will strengthen skills and youth participation and back the systems and the partnerships that make data work for people. In a landscape which I think we have all too often experienced as fragmented and fractured, the festival fosters connection, creativity, and the all-important collaboration that can bridge the silos that divide us, can center equity, and elevate diverse voices, including those of young people. Together, we will catalyze political will, we will unlock resources, and we will translate frameworks into action on urgent challenges such as climate, health, food security, and inclusive AI. It's more than just a week-long event, although it is also that. The Global Data Festival is a catalyst for shared purpose and practical progress in shaping a just, sustainable, and data-empowered future. And I'm absolutely delighted that we're able to bring this event to this continent for the first time. As we move through the rest of the day, please keep 4 themes in mind. First, equity and inclusion, because the value of data rises when everyone is counted and everyone is served. Second, responsible and effective data governance, which includes the opportunities and the risks that come with AI technologies. Third, investment in sustainable data systems, because pilots do not last if systems are weak. And fourth, all of this coming together to give us real solutions for climate, for health, for the partnership, and the importance of responsible collaboration that protects people and delivers public value. And we want throughout to be highlighting the talent in this region. Skills will shape the future. and we will elevate youth participation and practical training so the innovations that we celebrate today will endure. I'm looking forward to a stimulating and exciting day, looking forward to hearing from our esteemed panelists, and of course to meeting as many as possible of you as we talk and share in the breaks. And especially, once again, grateful thanks to Her Excellency, and very much looking forward to your remarks later on in the programme. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Claire. Shall we please put our hands together again for her? She's the CEO of Global Partnership Sustainable Development Data. And just to go over the 4 things that Claire says we should look out for as we go through the day: equity and inclusion, responsible and effective data governance, also investment in sustainable data, and real solutions to our everyday problems. Well, coming up next, highlighting the UN's commitment to data, the power of data, and support for the Global Data Festival. Here is a representative of the United Nations. He's actually the UN Resident Coordinator. Please help me welcome Mr. Zia Chowdhury.
Good morning. How's everybody? Great. So thank you, Excellency, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Great to see you. Honorable Mohammed Sukparu, Deputy Minister of Communication. Wonderful to meet you. Dr. Korir Singh Oi, the Principal Secretary from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Government of Kenya. Members of Parliament present, Dr. Idrisu, Ghana Government Statistician. Ambassador of Colombia to Ghana. And we have Chief of Staff from the Office of the VP. We also have the Senior Aide from the Office of the VP. That's Mr. Alexander and Dr. Teresa. Dr. Claire, my colleague from Global Partnership. Other members of the diplomatic community, members of my own UN country team, private sector, directors from various agencies, civil society actors, media colleagues, and ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome. And thank you. It's a very long list, protocol list, but I think it's good to try to get it right. Apologies if I got it wrong, but somebody will forgive me. So I want to say it is a real honor to be here, and particularly to be with our guests from Kenya, Colombia, and beyond, and to see all the diverse participants here from the country, because this is an important dialogue. And it's important that we have a very broad diversity of people engaging in it. And on behalf of the UN country team in Ghana, I want to particularly thank the government of Ghana for hosting this pre-Global Data Festival meeting. Ghana's leadership, as has been already noted, in advancing data for development is globally recognized, making it the ideal place to reflect and to share ideas to shape Africa's voice ahead of the festival in Nairobi next year. I also want to thank Dr. Idrisu, particularly as the chief statistician, for his remarks, because, you know, in the past, as a non-statistician, sometimes when you speak to statisticians, you know, they speak in code and you can't really follow. But it was very crystal clear, sir. So thank you very much for making it accessible to us, because we do have to understand statistics and data, as has been said and will be said again and again today. Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's gathering is timely and it is significant for many reasons, but one is that we have only 5 years left to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals which all member states committed to. And the urgency to harness data for transformative action has never been greater. The world is accelerating efforts towards achieving SDGs, and so we need more reliable and timely data. It's a priority for all of us in order to achieve our SDGs. Investing in data does unlock dividends, better policies, smarter investments, and saved lives. Dr. Idrisu, I think you said data is the lifeblood of policy. I like that. Thank you. That's memorable. And we also know that stronger data systems means stronger economies, more accountable governance, and faster progress generally on all of our development aims. And Her Excellency did say to me the other day about accountability in governance, so I think data, she's something that's close to her heart as well. Thank you. We at the UN identify and believe that better data is critical to achieving SDGs, as I've already said. And there is a very recent and notable evidence of this coming from a Dalberg analysis which suggests that there's an average return of $32 for every single dollar invested in data systems. To me, that's astounding. $32 return for every dollar. Let's keep that figure in mind, and I think that's very reliable information. Our efforts in the UN to advance data-driven development have accelerated in the recent years, from the launch of the UN Data Strategy in 2021 to prioritizing data for early warning systems in 2022, and the introduction of the Power of Data, the High Impact Initiative in 2023. So every year we're trying to do something major. And the message has always been clear from the SG down. The data is no longer optional, it's central to saving lives, driving results, and building a more resilient future. At the UN World Data Forum in April 2023, Secretary General Antonio Guterres, my boss, he's described data as the bedrock of a sustainable future, and he urged the forum then to turbocharge its transformative power to accelerate progress on the 2030 agenda. And I think that's a similar message today from me on behalf of the SG, is that let's turbocharge our transformative power when we use data. So all of these milestones reflects the UN's conviction that trustworthy, timely, and inclusive data is essential for achieving the SDGs, as I've said many times, but building resilience and ensuring that no one is left behind. From the UN's perspective, it's not just about numbers, and as our chief statistician said, it's about people, it's about dignity, it's about progress. It empowers governments to make informed choices, but also empowers communities to voice their needs and partners to design targeted and impactful interventions. Now, I asked a colleague to help me to get an example of how data has transformed life of somebody in Ghana. Because again, we can talk about numbers all day, but we need to translate it into something real for all of us. So she told me about the story of about the life of a young girl in rural Ghana who is now attending school regularly based on something that happened through data. Her name is Amina. She's a 15-year-old student, and she said, after an intervention, she said, now I can come to school every day, and I want to become a nurse. And how did that happen? Well, it began as raw school attendance data, which was analyzed and turned into actionable insights, which revealed that the low attendance that Amina had, and amongst many junior high school girls, is not due to cultural reasons or poverty or economic reasons. It was rather, well, poverty, yes, but it was due to lack specifically of affordable menstrual hygiene products and proper sanitation facilities in schools. So once that was targeted, Amina was able to go to school every day. So I think that's a real example, and I like to reflect on that. Thank you. So without the trustworthy and timely data, we can't track progress, we can't deliver results, we can't ensure accountability, and we can't meet the needs of people like Amina. And currently, we only have about 15% of SDG targets on track, those which can be measured. So we know it's extremely urgent to have more and better data and evidence. Governments and regional bodies are equally prioritizing data through various initiatives. We have the Pact for the Future, which was adopted by all member states at the Summit of the Future in September 2024. And that positioned data as a global public good, something else my colleague, Chief Statistician said. He said it's vital for evidence-based decision-making, tracking progress, and addressing all emerging global challenges. The Pact calls for stronger national data systems, enhanced digital cooperation, and inclusive access to reliable and disaggregated data, a very critical thing, particularly for those of us who are keen in ensuring that women and children are meeting their needs. Thank you. It says time up, please. So just being very transparent about the data I'm receiving. So let me skip through all the many other important, extremely important things I had to say, but MC is pushing me a little bit. Let's just say that we in the UN are fully committed to supporting the national efforts to harness the power of data for sustainable development. And with the government and all development partners, we will support efforts to invest in stronger statistical systems, promoting innovation in data use, and facilitating platforms for data partnerships, including collaboration with the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data. Excellency, I had many other things of importance and value to say to you, but I'll say it another day. Let's just hope that today will really bring out the best in our collective thinking, and I really look forward to being here and also listening to the results. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chowdhury. Please let's show him a bit more love. Thank you. And Mr. Chowdhury, you can share the rest in Kenya. We'll meet in Nairobi. All right, up next, and our next two guests would have 5 minutes each to do their presentation. We have a representative from the government of Kenya. Please help me welcome the Director General and CEO of Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, Dr. MacDonald Obudu.
Your Excellency, Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ageman, and allow me to ride on the protocol that has already been established for the sake of time. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning again. We really have to be lively here because I believe the team that is here is already data converted. Excellency, before I go very far, we have come all the way from Nairobi, and it is just good to appreciate the team that is representing the Kenya government here. So I would just request the team from Kenya to rise up. Kindly just rise up. Thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, I also recognize my colleague Pamela Udi, who is a consultant and working in the region here. I did not see her rising up, and she's a Kenyan. And actually also, she has served in the Bureau for such a long time. Thank you. I'm still within my 5 minutes, and so I would really try to move faster. I'm actually representing here in the podium today at this time the Principal Secretary in charge of the State Department for Foreign Affairs in the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Dr. Korir Sing'oei, who is not, was not able to come. And so then, because of his not coming, him not coming, I'm really standing on his behalf here. Now, the colleagues, it is a pleasure to be here, to be part of this continental conversation of data for our sustainable development for the prosperity of the continent. This event is particularly strategic as Kenya prepares to host the Global Data Festival in Nairobi, and we have been given the date to be 2nd to 5th of June 2026. It was looking to be far away, but pre-Global Data Festival high-level, Ghana high-level meeting reminds me that we are already dealing with the pre, so we now just left with the main event after today, and so it is pretty close. We recognize the power of data and drive forward to inclusive data agenda, ensuring that no one is left behind. And of course, this is the principle upon which the SDGs was established. Our gathering today in Ghana gives Kenya an opportunity to learn and celebrate Ghana's effort in championing strong data systems, and it also gives us the opportunity to share our progress that has been made so far. As the Kenya government, through the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, it is our responsibility to ensure that the government has the right data to make the right decisions, and this is a demonstration of the power of data. Without quality data, resources will not be optimally utilized at whatever level of decision making. Kenya and Ghana share much similarities, and importantly, we both pride ourselves as some of the pioneering countries in the continent that are making bold steps to strengthen statistical systems. In particular, I would like to highlight our joint work on the initiatives like innovative data collection, using citizen data, and championing inclusive data, which have truly set us apart from the rest. We are leading this work from the south so that other countries can also learn from us. Our gathering today will highlight some of the successes, especially in Ghana. I also believe that this gathering will offer space to take a deep look at what we, as the government and partners, need to do in order to sustain the data efforts. I am certain that this gathering will highlight one of the key lessons that we have learned as Kenya on fostering the data community. Without authentic collaboration across the government and non-state actors, data efforts cannot go far. Therefore, just to mention very quickly, 3 key messages that would guide our presence here. One is partnership. The future of data is not siloed, but rather shared. We must continue to forge alliances across government, civil society, academia, and the private sector. Kenya is ready to co-create with you, to learn from your successes, and to spotlight your innovations on the global stage in 2026. The second one is on the Africa's data stories that we must offer to be, must provide the lead in the global narrative. That much has been done, but little has been spoken about, and so it is our chance to really go out to the global arena and show that a lot of work is going on and much has been achieved. And the third one is on the political partnership. Data must be championed at the highest level, and this is one thing that the government of Kenya is committed to achieving by strengthening the political consensus around the role of data in policy making, transparency, and service delivery. This is one of the key things that the government of Kenya is key on, is very focused on, and Kenya pledges to continue leveraging the power of data, working very closely with the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, and we have had our good CEO, Dr. Claire, speaking to us here. For sure, the GPSDD has offered a lot of support that we are now celebrating at this moment. On behalf of the government of Kenya and the people of Kenya, I thank the government of Ghana for its warm welcome and hospitality, and reaffirm our commitment to walking this journey together, guided by the power of data, united by the spirit of Pan-Africanism, and driven by the shared vision of a better future for all. Thank you, and may God bless you.
A round of applause again for him. Our last speaker, who has 5 minutes, is the Charge d'Affaires of Colombia to Ghana. Please help me welcome Ms. Callis Moreno.
Good morning. Distinguished guests, Her Excellency Professor Nana Opoku, Vice President of Ghana. Dr. Alassane Idrisu, Government Statistician, Ghana. Dr. Claire Melamed, CEO, GPSDD. Mr. Sia Shuduri, UN Resident Coordinator, Ghana. Her Excellency Cory Single, Principal Secretary, Foreign Affairs, Kenya. Dr. McDonald Obudu, Director General, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to address you today on behalf of the government of Colombia to celebrate this gathering around a strategy theme, the power of data for development, innovation, and South-South cooperation. Colombia shares with Ghana and Kenya the conviction that data is not merely a set of figures of technical records. It is above all a tool for social and political transformation. When data becomes a reliable input for policymaking, a bridge to hear the voices of communities, and a platform to ensure that no one is left behind, it turns into a driving force for democracy, transparency, and sustainable development. It is in this spirit that I wish to highlight our joint commitment to make inclusive data the norm initiative. This pioneering South-South partnership between Ghana, Kenya, and Colombia, under the technical leadership of the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, and with financial support from APC Colombia, seeks to build inclusive data systems that capture the realities of all people, especially those who have too often remained invisible in official statistics: rural populations, Afro-descendants and indigenous communities, women, young people, and persons with disabilities. Allow me to briefly share some of the concrete achievements that have emerged from this collaboration. Institutional strengthening. Our national statistical offices have enhanced their capacity to integrate citizen-generated data into official statistics, bridging gaps that traditional systems could not address alone. In Colombia's case, we are developing a maturing model on citizen data, a standardized tool designed to empower communities with a reliable framework for collecting and organizing their own data. This has been possible to lessons learned from Kenya and Ghana. Expanded participation. Community organizations are now more directly engaged in producing and validating data, thereby fostering trust, legitimacy, and a stronger sense of ownership within our data ecosystems. In Colombia, the National Statistics Office has co-created resources with CSOs, the national government and subnational level governments, ensuring that the voices of diverse communities are reflected in the information that guides public policy. Policy relevance insights. Together, we have identified critical gaps between the three countries in areas such as gender-based violence, ethnic and racial inclusion, and informal settlements, and have generated innovative solutions that are already informing national policy agendas. A South-South learning network. Ghana, Kenya, and Colombia are now part of a robust platform of exchange strengthens our domestic efforts, but also prepares us to share our experiences on a global stage, particularly at the Global Data Festival in Nairobi in 2026. These outcomes demonstrate that South-South cooperation is not an abstract aspiration. It is a concrete and effective practice that produces public value, nurtures innovation, and responds to the realities of our societies. For Colombia, this is a proof that when countries of the Global South learn from and support one another, we design solutions that are context-driven, sustainable, and fully aligned with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Our presence here today also reflects Colombia's renewed commitment to deepen its ties with Africa. The relationship between Ghana and Colombia is rooted in history, in the shared heritage of Afro-descendants communities, and is today enriched by new forms of cooperation such as this one. Through data and innovation, we are weaving a stronger fabric of solidarity and mutual progress. Excellencies, for Colombia, the effort to include all voices in our data system is, above all, a matter of justice. That which is not measured remains unseen, and that which is unseen cannot be addressed. By making invisible populations visible, we create the conditions for equitable policies and for the effective protection of rights. This is the true promise of inclusive data. In closing, I wish to commend the government of Ghana for its exemplary leadership in data innovation and governance, and the government of Kenya for its unwavering partnership in this agenda. I also extend sincere appreciation to the global partnership and all partners present here for making this vision a reality. Let us take today's dialogue as an opportunity to renew our commitment, to forget new alliance, and to scale up the impact of our shared work. Colombia will continue to contribute with dedication and action because we believe that diplomacy of data is ultimately diplomacy for human dignity and for the sustainable development for all our people. Thank you.
Can we please appreciate her one more time? Miss Kellis Moreno. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of some individuals here with us this morning. From the Office of Her Excellency, the Vice President, we have Dr. Alex Segwefia, Chief of Staff of the Vice President here. We also do have Professor Sheriff Khalid, Policy Advisor on Economy to the Vice President. So, you know we are taking notes as Ghana. Be rest assured. From the UN, we have Dr. Fiona Braka, WHO representative to Ghana. Also, Dr. Wilfredo Chan, UNFPA representative. Fatal Diallo Ndiaye, IOM representative to Ghana, Togo, and Benin. Please, can we appreciate them? Thank you. So very shortly, we'll hear from Ghana's Vice President, Her Excellency Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman. Thank you, ma'am, for still staying with us. But before that, I know that we have friends who are in Ghana for the very first time. At least I made a Kenyan friend, a new friend who is here for the first time. We want to give you a little taste of Ghana. So please help me welcome the group that I'm going to be introducing. They are performing a dance from the north of our country, Ghana. It's called Jera. Please welcome with a round of applause, Ghana Dance Ensemble National Theatre. applause for the Ghana Dance Ensemble. The Ghana Dance Ensemble. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we rise now for the keynote address to be delivered by our Vice President? Kindly rise, Madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please take your seats. I suppose I can address all of us as colleagues and friends. Does that work? Okay. If it doesn't work for you, just consider yourself individually addressed. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much. Colleagues and friends, the role of data in development, governance, and global cooperation has never been more far-reaching. In a world of uncertainty, data remain a powerful tool for making informed decisions. That is why it is a distinct pleasure for me to welcome all of you on behalf of His Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama, and on my own behalf to Accra, and to this high-level meeting. Welcome to Ghana. Welcome to Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, the government of Ghana believes that policy must be informed by facts, shaped by reality, and designed for inclusive impact to achieve the Ghana we want. Thus, we have anchored governance in a data-driven and evidence-informed approach. Permit me to give some background and to highlight a few initiatives. On the economic front, Ghana has shown commendable fiscal stewardship. GDP growth accelerated to 5.3% in the first quarter of 2025, and inflation fell to 12.1% in July. You don't think it's a good one? This has enabled a narrowed fiscal deficit target, which is a positive signal of recovery and discipline. We build, therefore, on the foundation of a resilient and dynamic economy. One important project is our flagship 1 Million Coders Initiative, a digital skills and youth employment program being implemented with several partners. We are equipping young Ghanaians with digital and data skills to match the demands of the digital economy. As His Excellency the President has stated, this initiative marks our intent to transition from a consumer of technology to an important contributor. As part of our strategic minerals sector reforms, we launched Gold Board, a new agency to regulate gold trading. We introduced the Gold Board Task Force as well to combat illegal mining. In 5 months, official exports were valued at over $5 billion. Similarly, our mining laws are undergoing their most sweeping overhaul in 20 years. The Ministry of Lands and Mineral Resources, Natural Resources, is reducing license durations and mandating local development contributions and reforms that prioritize community and environmental welfare. Across health, agriculture, climate resilience, and the blue economy, impactful innovations driven by data are taking root in the form of real-time analysis, land use planning, weather-resilient seed systems, or satellite monitoring of our forests and coastlines. These are all guided by our policy to mainstream data stewardship and evidence use across ministries, departments, and agencies. And our National Statistical Office, the GSS, has shown remarkable adaptability from designing rapid surveys during the pandemic to fostering productive long-term partnerships. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana is, of course, not going it alone. The Make Inclusive Data the Norm project with our colleagues from Colombia and Kenya is an example of how the Global South can design solutions that reflect the realities of underserved populations and how citizen-generated data can shape better outcomes. This relationship shows our potential to reshape data governance for the exchange of knowledge and the advancement of inclusive data systems. In fact, many of our achievements would be impossible without collaboration. We therefore acknowledge our other partners like the UN, the World Bank, and many other development partners, heads of corporations, civil society, and the private sector, and of course the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, and many, many others for their support, the cooperation, and your continued investment in Ghana's data ecosystem. Definitely, government is pleased to co-host this year's event with the GSS and in collaboration with the Global Partnership on whose board we serve now. Thank you. As we look toward the next year's Global Data Festival, Ghana will continue to showcase her best practices and innovations from tax data modernization of the Ghana Revenue Authority through the use of mobile data for sustainable statistics and disaster reduction planning to innovation in data science, machine learning, and others. We will continue to elevate the voices of our youth and data scientists, many of whom are already building impactful solutions in agriculture, climate, public health, and land restoration. We are very proud of that. Your Excellencies, honorable ministers, distinguished guests, let us approach today's deliberations with clarity and resolve. Time is running out on the targets we agreed and set for the SDGs. But our innovation, unity, and commitment can push us forward. Let us reaffirm our commitment to investing in the data proficiency of our institutions and embedding evidence in policy making. We must arrive at a destination where data are not something done exclusively for us or about us, but also generated by our people, governed by us, and used in our service. When we meet again next year at the festival, it should be to celebrate our progress and to show that the Global South has taken its rightful place in the global data movement. Please enjoy your stay in Accra, and may this festival be the beginning of an exciting new chapter in our journey together. I want to thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Respectfully, Your Excellency, I would like you to stay. Your Excellency, can you please stay so that we can take some photographs? But of course, let's appreciate her speech. She just recently accepted to be on the board of the Global Partnership. If you had any doubts, Ghana's political-led commitments, there you have it. Can we please have our speakers join her, please, so we can take some photographs? Dr. Al-Hassan, the Deputy Government of Ghana Statistician, can you also kindly join? Can we have representative from the Deputy Communications Minister? Sir, please, can you join us? Can we also have the MD of Global Partnership also join? If we have representative from Telecel and MTN, can you kindly come up so you can also take some photographs with us? Dr. Wilfred Ochan, please. Dr. Wilfred Ochan, kindly join. Our rep from IOM, Fatal, please come up. Thank you very much. Can we also have Colombia's Director Data Collection also join? Dr. Philomena Nyako, former chair and also government statistician, chair of the board, please join us to have this photograph, please. Dr. Sabrafia, please. I didn't mean to leave you out. Kindly join so you can. We'll have some innovation session. I understand it's some sort of competition. Colombia, Kenya, Ghana. They came prepared. We'll have our break after this session. It will be for 10 minutes, please, because we'll have our panel discussion, one of two, right after. And we want to be on time because the advertised time for closing is 1 p.m. So our coffee tea break strictly is 10 minutes. Can we all, as we beautifully smile, can we say Ghana? Because after all, you're in Ghana. So 1, 2, 3, please. Ghana. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you, our special guests. And now we will respectfully rise. We'll respectfully rise as we see of our Vice President. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, with that said, we're officially on break. 10 minutes starts now. Your Excellency, thank you. We appreciate your presence. Thank you very much.
Hey.
We're officially on break. Whether you have your tea or not, the clock is ticking. We have 10 minutes, please. Ladies and gentlemen, respectfully, thank you.
properly and get started properly. We have the Honorable Deputy Minister, Mohammed Adams Sukpara, who's representing the Minister of Communication and Digital Technology. Thank you, Deputy Minister. Thank you. Please take a seat. We have Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu, the government statistician of GSS. Thank you. We have Ms. Rita Roxon, Head of Sustainability and Foundation at Telcel Ghana. Please, Ms. Roxon. And also pleased to welcome Ms. Harriet Nuama Agyemeng, the Country Director of Send Ghana and the co-chair of the CSO Platform for the SDGs. Welcome to the stage. Now, just to get us started. Well, what an inspiring start to the day with the session we've had just before. We're off to a great start. I will, however, confess that we may have lost a little bit of time in the coffee break, so I'll have to be even more strict with time in this panel. The energy in the room is a clear reflection of the growing momentum around the power of data and the shared belief that better data leads to better lives. I want to thank again the government of Ghana. We are so grateful to the Ghana Statistical Service, APC Columbia, the UK Office of National Statistics, and the whole team from the Global Partnership who's helped us put together the event today. So it's now my pleasure in this panel to turn our focus to the actions ongoing in Ghana, a country that has consistently shown bold, forward-thinking, and leadership in this space. One of the core principles of the Power of Data initiative is that real, lasting progress starts with strong national leadership. Ghana embodies this. By investing in the foundations of data, systems, governance, infrastructure, and capacity, Ghana is showing what it looks like when a country takes ownership of its data future and makes it central to national development. We deeply admire Ghana's commitment to digital transformation and the modernization of its data systems. And this is not about data and just about data and technology. It's about vision, leadership, and making data a political priority. So today's panel will take us deeper into this story. We will hear how leadership, investment, and strategic partnerships are helping Ghana unlock the full potential of data to drive inclusive, sustainable progress. So, please thank me, and please help me in thanking and welcoming our panel today. So, we'll go one by one, and I'd like to invite first the Honorable Deputy Minister, Mr. Mohammed Adams Sukparu, who will tell us a little bit about the administration's position on data and about the use of emerging technologies for national development and highlight the 1 Million Coders Initiative. Please, over to you.
Thank you. Invited guests, all protocol duly observed. On behalf of my minister, Honorable Samuel Nate George, the Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, who is currently out of the country with the President, I am here on his behalf. And it is an honor to join you at this pre-Global Festival, Global Data Festival, high meeting here in Accra. Today's gathering reflects Ghana's commitment to advancing a data-driven future, one where technology, innovation, and inclusion converge to transform lives and drive sustainable development. As we prepare to engage with the global community at the Data Festival, this platform allows us to showcase Ghana's leadership, share our progress, and deepen partnerships. We are not here to discuss data in the abstract. We are here because data is the lifeblood of effective governance, evidence-based decision-making, and the inclusive digital economy we are building. Under the leadership of His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama, Ghana is charting a bold and inclusive path towards a digitally empowered future. This isn't just a talk, it's action. The government has placed digital technology right at the heart of national development. Why? Because it drives productivity, it creates jobs, and it helps us connect better with each other and with the world. To achieve this, we need to strengthen the environment that supports the ecosystem. The ministry has therefore been working tirelessly to build an ecosystem that supports everyone, from students and entrepreneurs to public servants and tech startups. We are reviewing all policies and legislations, introducing new ones, and making sure Ghana is ready for both today's tech and tomorrow's innovations. Currently, 15 legislations are being worked on. I am happy, on behalf of my minister, to highlight a few other areas of progress. The 1 Million Coders program has officially begun. Already, about 859 young people in Accra, Kumasi, Sinyani, and Bogatanga have received training in digital skills. This is just the beginning. We are going nationwide. The draft National Artificial Intelligence Strategy has been reviewed to incorporate recent development in tech. This was done through inclusive stakeholder engagement and will guide how we use AI responsibly in areas like health agriculture, and education. The Ghana Innovation and Startup Bill is currently under review. Once passed, it will help build a vibrant tech ecosystem where ideas can grow into businesses. The Girls in ICT program is continuing to make a real difference. This year alone, 1,000 girls have been trained with a goal of reaching 3,000 by end of the year. We are closing the digital gender gap. An AI ministerial boot camp was held. Yes, our cabinet ministers are learning about AI. That is how serious we are about preparing for the future. And we are training our public sector too, making sure our government is ready to serve citizens in smarter and more efficient ways. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take a moment to highlight our flagship initiative, the 1 Million Coders Program. This program is not just a policy, it is a fulfilled promise. In the 2024 NDC manifesto, the 1 Million Coders Program was outlined as a flagship initiative under the Digital Jobs Initiative. It is part of a broader commitment to create sustainable jobs, empower youth, and build a vibrant digital economy. The manifesto also pledged to support regional digital centers, ICT parks, and a $50 million fintech growth fund to nurture youth-led startups. The 1 Million Coders Program is a national digital skills initiative with a target to train 1 million Ghanaians, particularly youth, women, and underserved groups in coding, software development, and digital skills. The specific objective of the program are: 1, to promote access to digital opportunities, ensuring women, youth, and underserved communities benefit from tech-driven growth. 2, equip 1 million Ghanaians with practical digital skills, focusing on coding, AI, cloud computing, and cybersecurity skills in high demand across BPO, GBO, and tech startups. 3, support employment and entrepreneurship in the tech sector, aligning training with emerging job trends, including remote digital services, fintech, and artificial intelligence automation. 4, strengthening Ghana's technology talent pipeline, addressing the shortage of skilled professionals in high growth field. And 5, foster innovation through digital capacity building, encouraging local tech solutions to drive economic growth. Today, we are proud to say we have begun. In April 2025, the 1 Million Coders Program was officially launched by His Excellency the President of the Republic, President John Dramani Mahama, at the Ghana Indian Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in ICT. The pilot implementation was managed by the Ghana Indian Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in ICT under the aegis of the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology, and Innovation, in close collaboration with Ghana Digital Centers Limited, Data Protection Commission, National Communication Authority, and Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communication, as well as key agencies and partners. This phase focused on testing training models, refining curricula, and assessing scalability for nationwide rollout. The pilot phase covered Greater Accra, Ashanti, Bono region, and Upper East regions. Training over 850 youth in coding, data analyst, associate, certified network support technician, certified cybersecurity professional, and certified data protection officer. It targeted out-of-school youth, women in tech, and underserved communities. Over 90,000 applications were received within 48 hours of launch. Proof of the hunger for digital opportunity. We currently have in our database over 150,000 registered applicants ready to undertake the program. Ladies and gentlemen, at the heart of this initiative is coding, the foundational skill that powers the digital world. Coding is the new literacy. It teaches logic, it teaches creativity, it teaches problem solving. It empowers our youth to build websites, apps, and digital solutions that solve real problems in our communities. Understanding the basis of coding is critical to taking advantage of online resources to write codes that address our specific challenges. But coding is just the beginning. Beyond coding, the 1 Million Coders program is offering specialized tracks in the most critical and fast-growing areas of technology, such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data protection and privacy, cloud computing, blockchain, robotic, and more. These tracks will prepare our youth not just for jobs, but for leadership in the fourth industrial revolution. How we will deliver nationwide? The program will provide accessible learning through free online and offline courses available in English. We are leveraging regional tech hubs and community information centers across all regions to support hands-on learning and mentorship. In addition, we are courting industry partnership by collaborating with global tech firms, universities, private sector training institutions, and local startups. Parents, I urge you to nurture curiosity in your children and encourage them to embrace digital skills. Educators, let us bring technology into our classrooms and open new doors of opportunity for our students. To our businesses, the call is clear. Invest boldly in Ghanaian tech talent and innovation. For us policymakers, our role is critical. We must provide the infrastructure, policies, and funding that will sustain this vision. And finally, to our youth, this is your moment. The world is waiting for your ideas. The world is waiting for your creativity. The world is waiting for your skills and your code. In conclusion, the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama believes that with 1 million coders and thousands of specialists in AI, cybersecurity, and emerging technologies, Ghana will not merely participate in the global digital economy. We will lead it. So let us rise together. Let us build a future where every Ghanaian has the tools to thrive in the digital age. Once again, thank you for the opportunity, and may God bless us all.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister, for those words. It's wonderful to hear all of the actions that you have ongoing and that leadership. And so now we'll turn to Dr. Alhassan Idrisu, the government statistician of Ghana, to tell us a little bit about the progress you're making and the ambitions you have for the future. Please.
Thank you very much, Gina. And colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's really a privilege to join this important conversation on powering national progress through data leadership. This title is not just aspirational. I mean, the title we are looking at today with regards to this panel discussion, in my view, is not just aspirational. It speaks to truth that many of us here know very well. And what is this truth that I'm talking about? Without credible data, we cannot design effective policies, track our progress, or mobilize the partnerships, the arms of government. This is more than procedural. It signals a transformation in how governance itself is informed by evidence. Already, administrative data from education, from health, and local government are being harmonized to guide policies on schooling, service delivery, and decentralization. This whole of government approach is enabling decisions that are faster, better targeted, and more accountable. Let me talk a bit about financing. I think we need to be very candid here. Ambitions require resources. If you really want to develop, you need resources to develop. Data systems do not finance themselves, as we know. Ghana has been very deliberate in seeking innovative solutions for our statistical system. Through the Power of Data initiative, we are co-creating a costed action plan that sets out clearly what investments are needed in 3 areas. 1, in governance, 2, in digital readiness, and 3, in institutional capacity. This plan is not just a budget request. It is a blueprint for aligning government resources with support from development partners and the private sectors. At the same time, we must be very frank. Over 85% of our funding for our statistical system still comes from development partners. This is not sustainable. Especially if we are to own our development agenda, we must prioritize domestic financing for data, ring-fencing resources in the national budget, and treat investment in statistics as central to governance and growth. Only then can we reduce dependence, ensure continuity, and demonstrate true leadership on the continent. The principle is very simple. Financing data is not a luxury. It is an enabler for financing development itself. And as our colleague mentioned earlier, every CD invested in strengthening our statistical system yields multiple inefficiency and impact for national programs. This is the more reason why we all have to ensure that we prioritize data so that we can get the dividends that data provides, and for data to be the bedrock of effective decision-making. Let me touch a bit on institutional transformation and innovation that the Ghana Statistical Service has been championing for some time now. Financing is only a part of the story. Everything cannot be financing. Equally critical is how we transform our institutions to deliver. For the Ghana Statistical Service, this has meant embracing innovation and partnerships that push the boundaries of what official statistics can achieve. I'll give you an example. A prime example is the data for good partnership between Ghana Statistical Service, Flowminder Foundation, and Telecel Ghana. Our colleague is from Telecel, she's here, and much earlier, I spoke with the Flowminder CEO. By leveraging telecom data, what we did was to produce real-time mobility analysis during the pandemic that guided lockdown decisions within 72 hours. This was a breakthrough not only for Ghana, but for Global South, showing how public-private collaborations can unlock new data sources for public good. So Ghana's leadership in this work has been shared widely with peers and made possible by the bold support of our partners, namely Hewlett Foundation, Vodafone Foundation, and especially Telecel, to whom we remain very grateful. I want to share another example with you. And this is in our leadership in citizen-generated data. Ghana was the first country to report on marine litter indicators under SDG 14. And this year, the Ghana Statistical Service was recognized, and let me say Ghana for that matter, was recognized with the Geo SDGs Awards in Rome. Working with UNDP, we are now scaling citizen data approaches to monitor governance and service delivery to be able to monitor SDG 16, which has been identified by Ghana as one with the most synergies across 72 SDG targets. These initiatives demonstrate that institutional transformation is not about structures alone. It is about cultivating agility, creativity, and partnerships that keep pace with complexities of today's challenges. But I must say that we are doing all of these within regional leadership and global partnerships. Ghana's story is not only national, therefore, it is also continental. I'm not happy the Vice President is not here whilst I'm going to make this statement. But I must say that our political leadership has consistently demonstrated strong commitment to data and the development agenda. In 2016, the UN Secretary General appointed His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama as co-chair of the Eminent Advocates for the SDGs, a role later continued by President Nana Akufo-Addo from 2017 until 2024. That same period, the then Vice President, Dr. Mahmoudou Bawumia, joined the board of the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development, DATA, signaling Ghana's leadership in advancing the data revolution. Earlier this year, that mantle of leadership was further strengthened when Her Excellency, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman, accepted an invitation to serve on the GPSDD board, ensuring Ghana remains at the forefront of shaping how final years of 2030 agenda are informed by data. So you can see the leadership very clearly here. From the National Data Roadmap Forum in 2017 to our ongoing engagement with the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, we have consistently shared experiences and supported peer learning across Africa. We take pride in the fact that Ghana has often been the first to pilot new approaches, from digital census implementation to administrative data integration, and we have done so with a spirit of openness. Our model is not perfect, we know, but it is instructive, and we continue to refine it with input from regional peers. This is why Ghana has joined the Power of Data initiative. And I'm glad Claire is here herself, and Gina is here as well. Very soon, I'm told, she'll be taking over from Claire. They've worked with us, or we've worked with them to do some great jobs in the past. By reinforcing the power of data as a collective agenda, we can accelerate progress across countries, strengthen partnerships, and make sure that no one is left behind in the data revolution. But in all of these, we need to ensure that future commitments are observed. So looking ahead, Ghana's priorities are very clear. First, to entrench cross-government coordination so that every arm of government, whether we are dealing with the executive or parliament or the judiciary, relies on evidence and decision-making. Two, to secure sustainable financing for data, ensuring that our national statistical system has the resources it needs to deliver consistently. Three, to continue transforming the Ghana Statistical Service into a world-class institution, a hub of innovation, expanding our use of big data, digital platforms, and citizen engagement. Three, finally but not the least, to lead by example in Africa, demonstrating how data can power national progress while contributing to global learning. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, let me end where I began. Data is not a byproduct of development. It is its foundation. The real test of leadership today is whether we can harness data not only to measure progress, but to create it. We need to use the data to create the progress. Through better policies, inclusive governance, and accountable institutions. Ghana's experience shows that this is possible. We have come a long way, but we are determined to go further. With political will, cross-government collaboration, innovative partnerships, and sustained investment, data leadership can indeed power national progress. The power of data is ultimately the power to transform lives. Let us use it wisely, boldly, and together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Idrisu. It's wonderful to hear all those details of what you've done in GSS and where you're going for the future and to see that leadership. Now we're going to move on quickly in the panel. A reminder that our next two panelists, we only have 5 minutes for each of you, but I'm pleased to pass the floor over now to Ms. Rita Roxon, who's the Head of Sustainability and Foundation at Telcel Ghana, who will tell us a little bit more about the collaboration that Dr. Idrisu mentioned in relation to the use of mobile data for sustainable development. Please.
Yeah, absolutely. So good morning, everybody. And I am more than happy to be here. I bring greetings from my CEO, Engineer Patricia Obunai. She really wanted to be here, but there were conflicting activities that were happening at the same time. And yes, you're right. Very happy when Doc mentioned the collaboration that we've had over the couple of years, and my team that are here to support us. So I'll just give a little bit more detail and how we see this shaping development from our side. So it is an honor to be here, as I mentioned, once again, as Ghana demonstrates leadership in harnessing the power of data for sustainable development. Data has become the lifeblood of progress. shaping decisions, guiding resource allocation, and enabling solutions that are both inclusive and impactful. This is not only Ghana's story. Across the world, we have seen how responsibly used mobile big data can transform outcomes. And I'll give some examples. During the Ebola outbreak in Sierra Leone, anonymized data tracked population movements and guided the health response. In Bangladesh, in Asia, data from millions of users strengthened disaster preparedness ahead of Cyclone Mahasan. After Nepal's 2015 earthquake, mobility patterns from more than 12 million mobile phones revealed displacement and return flows within days, allowing relief agencies to act quickly to solve critical problems of the displaced citizens. These examples show that data, when managed with care, can save lives, and I'm sure that has been already mentioned, and strengthen resilience. Now back to Ghana. The Ghana Statistical Service has been a trailblazer in this space, and I commend their leadership in convening ahead of the Global Data Festival in Nairobi next year, a moment that will put Africa at the center of the global conversation on data innovation. Now back home to Telecel Ghana. We have long believed in the transformative power of data. Since 2018, we have partnered with the Ghana Statistical Service and the Flowminder Foundation through the Data for Good initiative, where we are basically using anonymized data or mobile big data and analytics to generate insights and support national development priorities. This collaboration first proved its value during the COVID-19 pandemic, when anonymized data records and mobility data provided real-time insights that guided national restrictions, informed health interventions, and helped reach vulnerable communities. That partnership has since matured into a model for co-creating evidence-driven solutions. In 2023, when the Akosombo Dam spillage displaced communities in the Volta and Eastern regions of Ghana, mobility analysis across 9 districts enabled our NADMO to deliver more targeted disaster reliefs, ensuring timely support for the most affected households. And just this year, in June 2025, Telecel's anonymized and aggregated data on phone usage, subscriber mobility, and network coverage was combined with sensors and geospatial information to generate poverty estimates at a highly granular level, down to 1 square kilometer grids. This breakthrough now allows governments and partners to direct interventions where they are needed most. Of course, innovation must go together with trust. Every data sets in these collaborations are anonymized, aggregated, and processed in line with Ghana's Data Protection Act at 843 and global operator standards. So if you're a Telecel user, nobody will know this is your data. These are anonymized data. A strong governance framework ensures that privacy and public benefits always remain balanced. Ghana's progress is part of a wider global movement, yet our work demonstrates how Africa can lead with homegrown innovations, and we are proud to be contributing to this global shift, and equally proud to be setting the pace on the continent. So looking ahead, Telecel stands ready to share lessons, tools, and technical support to enable cross-country collaborations. We are equally proud of Ghana's leadership in championing the Power of Data High Impact Initiative, and we look forward to Nairobi in 2026. let us continue investing. Let us continue investing in partnerships that turn data into decisions and decisions into impacts that citizens can truly, truly feel. Telecel remains a trusted partner committed to ethical innovations, collaboration, and capacity building to help power Africa's data-driven future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Leaders like Telecel really are showing everyone how it's done on public-private partnerships, and so thank you very much for that. And now, last but certainly not least, we're excited to hear from Harriet Nuama Agemang, the country director of Send Ghana and the co-chair of the Civil Society Platform on the SDGs, who's going to tell us a little bit about how civil society and social enterprises are contributing to advancing sustainable development through data. Over to you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. And happy to be here. Nice to meet all of you. So I talk about civil society, wearing two hats. And so civil society in Ghana and elsewhere, we believe, play a critical role in national development. We contribute to democracy, the growth of democracy, as we've done in Ghana, social justice, and development as a whole. Civil society in Ghana, with the space, let me give the credit to government, with the space that we have to engage government and citizens and across our peers, we contribute immensely to influencing policies. We contribute immensely to mobilizing citizens for national development. And we contribute immensely to the delivery of services in our country. However, in all these, we have to ensure that there's inclusivity, so that nobody is left behind. And how have we been innovative in doing this? We have used data-driven advocacy, or we have embarked on that. We, through technology, gather information, citizens-generated data, which means that sometimes we go to the length of training citizens, equipping them to gather their own data, and then we will pull the information together and use that to influence policy or decision. We do the community scorecards. These are tools that are used. We use the open data portals, so the ODK and all of that. We employ them to generate data because we need the data to be as relevant as possible so that we can use that to engage government. And we have developed, several civil society organizations have developed platforms that enables citizens wherever they find themselves to go on the platform and engage their district authorities, for instance, without passing through civil society, so that district authorities can respond to their peculiar needs. We have used mobile apps, the WhatsApp platforms, and social media to really campaign, including doing our e-petitions. I recall last year, through e-petition, we petitioned the former president of the Republic, to increase funding for epidemic preparedness and response in Ghana. And we are not surprised that the current government is working, to address epidemics in our country. We also use collaborative approaches, apart from working as networks among civil society organizations, collaborating, leveraging our individual strengths and capacities to work. we also collaborate with government. Send Ghana, leading as the secretariat to the SDG platform, civil society SDG platform. I know we've worked with Statistical Service, especially on the recent VNR, Voluntary National Review process on the SDG. We have worked closely with the Statistical Service on that. Previously, we have also worked with Statistical Service basically to promote accountability in Ghana, and it has worked well. And so we believe that multi-stakeholder partnerships is the way to go. We are in recent times working with private sector. We are exploring the opportunities to working closely with private sector, and we've done so closely in the cocoa sector, where we engage the multinationals, the license buying companies, together with communities, co-create community development so that the people feel that they own the process. And these are some of the innovations we have used. Besides that, because we are a social enterprise, we are diversifying our sources of funding, not depending on traditional funders, but also engaging in some income generating activities so that we can fund ourselves and not depend entirely on people. But how is inclusivity important in all of these? For us, it is important so that we ensure fairness in development, so that every citizen is not left behind and they have equal or fair access to initiatives and programs that government initiates or the private sector initiates. And therefore, women, persons with disability, and minority groups are very important to us. And I will share some examples of what we use to ensure that all the category of persons are intentionally, reached with our interventions. We also think that inclusivity is important so that it will ground community priorities, so that the interventions will really address the needs of the very people for which we are implementing a certain initiative or development. That is very critical. In Ghana, there have ever been examples of development initiatives that have become white elephants because people's inputs were not really taken on board. But also, as a civil society organization, we believe that inclusivity gives us credibility, because we have been asked time and again, which constituency do you represent? We are citizens and we are helping ourselves, but we are asked that question. And so we cannot speak for the people. We need to speak with them. We need to mobilize them. We need to give the capacities that they need and all the tools that they require, and together we can speak for ourselves. So it's all about empowering those in the remote or deprived places who are almost forgotten, the last mile. We need to get all of them on board to make the session worthwhile. What are some of the examples of the things that we have used? GESI, gender equality and social inclusion, as a tool is very critical for civil society, and we use it. In my organization, we've gone a step further to use what we call the gender model family. And this is our way of transforming behavior right from the nuclear family. We are extending it to polygamous families, but behavior must start with the family. In spite of the fact that it could be a national development issue, once it starts with the family, you know that it can, spread through a community. And so we are using that model alongside the GESI, which allows us to disaggregate our information, age, sex, with all other diversities, we take them. We also are using the budget tracking tool as our way of participating in national decision-making around the budget cycle of our country, our annual budget cycle. And we are doing so effectively, working closely with the Ministry of Finance, who would normally go around with us to engage citizens to share their views of what a national budget should comprise of in coming years. We also use our data story. I've talked about the scorecards, but we use our data stories. We use the social media a lot to reach out. And for instance, those in the media are also using data to counter misinformation. Media Foundation of West Africa does that a lot, and that is contributing to our national development. And so going forward, what do we expect? We are expecting that we really mainstream inclusion in innovation, where we support non-literates and especially persons with disability, with tools that they can use, to gather information and use it to engage their government. We also believe that we need to recognize and integrate community-driven data into national statistics and policy processes, and then take advantage of that to build the capacity of civil society organizations, especially persons with disability, the federation, to be able to use data. We want to continue to promote the cross-sector partnerships, and that is very important for us. And at the end of the day, we want to ensure accountability. That is what we stand for. And every means that we could use, inclusive tools especially, we are glad to have them to engage. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So that concludes this wonderful panel. I just want to reflect on not only the leadership that we saw from our government representatives, but the leadership from the private sector and civil society here in Ghana. It is incredible leadership from across the data ecosystem, and that's what really is carrying Ghana forward as a leader on the continent and in the world in terms of data-driven innovation. And it's just been wonderful to hear all about what is going on, the achievements so far, and the ambitions for the future. We're very much looking forward to you all bringing that also to Kenya in June next year. Now, the next step in our day, my job is to invite you to a showcase that we have just outside the room, where a number of exciting projects and innovations will be on display. This is not a break. You all have work to do. You're encouraged to engage with the booths or showcases, to speak with the individuals representing these projects, and to learn about them for about 30 minutes. Also, to catch up on time, we weren't able to take any questions from the audience for our panelists, but if any of you have any follow-ups that you would like to make with them, you're welcome to approach them. So we'll do all of that in the next chunk of time in our agenda.
Hi, Jenna. If you don't mind, you can have your 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And what we're going to do is we want to continue with the next panel so we can have enough time for the showcase and then also have lunch right after. So
Very
please
good.
have your 5 minutes.
Thank you. Okay.
This is for the question and answers.
For the questions.
Yes.
Okay. It looks like you get the opportunity to ask questions or make comments to our panelists. I had received conflicting information. That's fine. Would anyone like to raise their hand and pose any questions to the panelists? Yes, sir, over there. I believe we have a microphone coming.
Thank you very much. I'm Amos Kawoba from the University of Energy and Natural Resources in Sunyani. I think my question goes to the government statistician. He has raised a very important question. Our development is based on the data, but our development cannot be relying too much on our development partners, looking at all the geopolitics that is happening. So my question to him is, how is Ghana Statistics Service pushing government to put money on the collection of data? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take one more question because we have to be brief. So if anyone else would like to get a question in.
Over here.
Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Wisdom Donko. I'm the Executive Director for Ghana Domain Name Registry, but then I'm speaking on my individual capacity. Yes, nice speeches. Yes, but then one thing still remains that we have a lot of data gaps within Ghana and Africa that we need to address. And then there's another thing too that we need to also look at, data formats. If you take the Ministry of Agri, for example, they have a lot of stakeholders doing work on the ground, collecting data, and then there is no format that is guiding them. So if I want a data to do my work or analyze, it becomes very difficult for me. Another thing too is our data systems are weak. We are not looking at that. And then we are talking about all of these initiatives. The data systems are still weak. And then also the use of spatial data. We also have a lot of issues with regards to that. When you look at the disasters that are happening, people building anyhow, waterways and all of that, we need some of this data. And it looks like we are not paying attention. Yet we have nice speeches. So we need to, my question to them is, what can we do to address some of these things?
Thank you. And one more question, if there is one. Yes, please, in the front.
Thank you. My name is Jennifer Castillo from Dani, Colombia. My question is very easy. Has the citizen participated directly in the different technological initiatives? What is the form? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, great. So we now have the opportunity to turn back to the panelists. You may choose to offer some response or not. I'll ask you to be brief, keep it to 1 to 2 minutes maximum, and maybe we'll start with Dr. Idrisu since most of those questions were addressed to you directly. Please.
Thank you very much. So, the first question that came was on funding. We've identified funding as a constraint. How do we ensure that we deal with it? Straightforward answer. First, the country must prioritize funding or financing data. It has to be prioritized. What do I mean by that? What it means is that there is resource constraint. We are aware of that. But that's why prioritization comes in. If we are saying that every dollar that is spent will generate a return of $32, that's such a huge return that is worth investing in. So our call to action is that our leaders or the executive should prioritize allocating more resources, more domestic resources for data generation and usage. That's number one. Number two, we at Ghana Statistical Service should not just call for more resources to be thrown at us. We on our own should demonstrate our relevance. As I mentioned earlier, there are many other competing ends that government must deal with. Government has to build roads. It has to ensure that education is provided for all, health, etc. So there are many competing ends. So if we have to attract that funding I'm talking about, or that priority, we have to showcase what is it that we are doing. We have to make our work very relevant. In my view, we are already doing that, but we've committed to transform the service to do some more, and we'll do just that in the coming days. Number three, we have to make sure that we are also putting in place mechanisms to increase our internal generation of resources. When I say internal generation, I mean the Ghana Statistical Service itself. What is it that we can do on our own to get some internally generated funds to support what government will give us, to support what is coming from the partners, etc. That is a very important question. We are already thinking about a number of innovative ways of making that happen. But we need legislation to help us get there. And fortunately for us, we are speaking with the executive, we are speaking with Parliament, and we are getting very good feedback. So I'm sure we can work together to ensure that the legislative requirements that will enable us or that will empower us to increase our internally generated funds, would be done very soon, so that it will give us the opportunity to address it from that angle. So these are some of just few of the ideas that we can implement to get some more funding for the service to make the provision of data in terms of financing more sustainable. And then the second question was on systems, weak systems, etc. So the gentleman who made that point, I mean, I agree with you. So in my delivery, I think I acknowledged that we still have issues. There are still problems. But I can tell you that Ghana, which is a developing country, had made very significant strides in ensuring that we improve the data generation system, we collaborate with other data producers like the MDAs, etc., and also ensure that the data, not only the MDAs, in fact, even our global partners and the civil society, like our sister was mentioning from St. Ghana, civil society, and also the private sector. So we are collaborating with all of these institutions to ensure that the system is improved and to ensure that the data, once produced, is actually used. In fact, data produced, not used, is useless. It doesn't make sense at all. And so one of our preoccupations is to ensure that whatever data is produced is used by the executive, is used by the private sector, is used by the civil society, and is used by the judiciary. So that at the end of the day, it is not about Ghana Statistical Service just producing the data, but it's about Ghana Statistical Service using data to actually influence decision-making at every stage of the development value chain, from policy making to implementation to monitoring to development outcomes. In other words, we want to see our data in improved living conditions of the people. That's when we would have been satisfied that the work we are doing has actually translated into development outcomes. So it's not just about data provision and data dissemination. It's about data provision, data dissemination, but also ensuring that we are working with relevant partners for that data to actually translate into positive outcomes for the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There was one other question on citizen engagement in the production of statistics. Ms. Nuama Agimeng, would you like to touch on that, maybe just in 1 minute?
Well, so citizens' participation in data generation, as in Ghana, civil society does that because our engagement with government must be evidence-driven. And to have the evidence, then you involve citizens to generate the information that you require. And that's why I mentioned that besides using the normal tools we have, you also want to go digital these days. And so you use all the necessary digital tools available to be able to generate data real time. And also to create digital platforms that citizens would engage their development authorities, in our case, the assemblies or central government. We have developed such a platform before, and citizens could just with a short code be there and share their needs. And the authorities responsible to responding to those needs also have access to the platform where they could go read about the needs and provide some immediate response and later address the issue and do same. Our budget work we do, if we cannot do face-to-face, we use digital means. We do virtual, we do WhatsApp, and we mobilize citizens online to share their ideas, and Ministry of Finance is there to pick the information firsthand and input that into the national budget. The process is ongoing. Last week we had one. This week we are having one in the northern region, and the Ministry of Finance is accompanying us to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give our panel another big round of applause. Thank you ever so much to all of you. And so with that, I think I'm checking with our capable MC. Are we ready to move to the showcase? We are.
Yeah, Jenna, but we've tweaked the programming just a little bit so that we can have enough time for the showcasing and also for lunch. So if you all agree respectfully, we'd like to continue with the next panel, which will be the last one. Do we all agree? Okay, thank you very much for agreeing. But what it would also mean is that we have to do a little exercise. Yeah, so would you kindly, respectfully rise for us? I've asked, created a DJ, so he'll give us a little music. Can we just move your neck side to side and your shoulders along with it? If you can do a little walk around, that will also be good. Just walk a little bit, back and forth. Just a little bit. Thank you. Our panelists, we are grateful. We're grateful to all of you. So, whilst we take the photographs, thank you very much for the music. Thank you. We can kindly take our seats now. Thank you very much for going along with me. Thank you. So, we have the showcasing innovation segments, which will be right after our second panel discussion, which will be for 30 minutes. Can we please show them some love by putting our hands together for them, Jenna and her team. We have a very powerful delegation from Colombia, and I would like us to acknowledge them with a round of applause, the team from Colombia. We also have from the Hewlett Foundation, Chris and your team. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for your presence. And we have the Deputy Development Director, British High Commission, Accra, Samina Bhatia. Thank you very much, you and your team, representing the governments of the UK. We appreciate. Thank you very much. Oh, we have a powerful delegation from Kenya as well. Let's show them some love. And if you're visiting for the first time, which I know some of the Kenyans are, please don't limit yourself to this meeting alone. After everything, after the showcasing, after lunch, please make time and explore our beautiful country. Well, the next panel discussion is coming up as we have all agreed. So this is not a decision that I have taken all by myself. You have agreed to it. It will be for 30 minutes. And we're looking at building inclusive and equitable data ecosystems through South-South collaboration. Looking ahead to Global Data Festival, which is coming off next year in Nairobi, Kenya. So to moderate this session, we have, appropriately so, a man who will do the job exactly as we have drawn it. He's a medical doctor with a master's in community health. He has over 20 years experience advancing peace, humanitarian response, health, and youth empowerment. He has held senior UNFPA leadership roles in Tanzania, South Sudan, Afghanistan, and Ghana, shaping national and regional development initiatives. Please help me welcome Dr. Wilfred Ochan.
Thank you very much, MC, for the day. In the interest of time, please join me to welcome on stage the following panelists who will deal with the segment on building inclusive and equitable data ecosystems through South-to-South collaboration. May I have the pleasure of bringing us on the stage Ms. Teki Akwete from Africa Digital Rights Hub. May I also have Jamie Proctor, the head of West Africa Research and Innovations Hub at the British High Commission. To join our panel is Diana Rogers Odus, the Director of Data Collection at the National Statistics Office of Colombia. And we also have Dr. McDonald Obudo, the Director General of the Ghana National Bureau of Statistics. Please join us. And finally, and not the least in any order, can we have Dr. Claire Melamed, the CEO of the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data. So this segment will basically focus on South-to-South partnerships, mutual learning, cross-regional innovation, equity, and inclusion. And we hope through the panel we'll be able to demonstrate greater visibility of global South leadership. I think you've had a lot of it already, but also leadership for deeper interregional collaboration. And we have only 30 minutes, so we'll do our best, and we have eminent panelists who will do due justice to the time and to the content of the message and call to actions they wish us to take from this segment. So to start us off is Ms. Teki Akwete, who is a privacy and ICT law expert. Teki was the first executive director of Ghana Data Protection Commission. She's also the founder of Africa Digital Rights Hub. She leads digital rights advocacy across Africa, and she's a senior partner at Nsia Akwete and Company. She also serves on the UN Global Pulse Privacy Advisory Group. So Ms. Teki, as we embrace data for development, how do we ensure privacy, digital rights, and inclusivity are not overlooked? And in telling us about that, how can we use South-to-South network to help strengthen the governance and build trust in digital ecosystems? Over to you.
All right, thank you very much. I would actually start off by maybe trying to simplify, because I believe it's almost like 3 questions in one: embracing privacy, embracing digital rights, and also inclusivity. And building a very robust, let me call it digitally enabling legal ecosystem actually requires a number of things. And I believe the first starts with a very good legal ecosystem. And what is a good legal ecosystem? A good legal ecosystem is one that is framed on a framework which has a lot of clarity and precision around what are we trying to achieve and what is the purpose for this law or legislative framework. It is also one that is based on fairness and justice. And by fairness and justice, we need to look at who is the law being developed for? What is the purpose? You know, we are speaking about who does it include, who would the law exclude? Are we taking factors such as inclusivity into place in developing those laws? Through that, we need to ensure that this legislative framework is also very proportional in terms of its outcome. And by proportionality, which is also linked to fairness, you want to make sure that in the implementation of the law, everyone is adequately taken care of. The big, the small, and anything in between. We also have to make sure that we're putting out a framework that is very effective, right? So you don't want to come up with provisions that are not implementable. Effectiveness has to do with, and we see that quite a bit in our ecosystem. You're developing a law. What are the capabilities, right? What is the capacity that is required to implement the laws? What are the resources that are required to implement the law? Is this readily available? We also want to ensure that, and I can't say this enough, I've said it on every platform, particularly in the digital ecosystem, there is the tendency for us to believe that we have to legislate to cover every eventuality that would come out, particularly in the digital space. Any law that is developed that is not flexible and adaptable is not a good law. And so if you're developing the law in as much as, and we've seen how somehow technology has overtaken pace, you know, when it comes to the laws. And so yes, there are situations where we have to take a step back, look at the legislative framework and say that, okay, this law does not address this specific purpose. But however, any legislative framework that we're looking at must be very flexible and adaptable. And that is why when you look at most of the laws in the ecosystem, it's talking about principles. Because the basic principles for these laws should never change. Whether it's AI, whether it's use of data, the basic principles must still work. And we have to look at transparency and accountability of those laws, as well as respect for human rights and consistency and predictability. Incorporating these frameworks will therefore allow us to develop or build a very independent regulatory framework, which comes with an independent regulator, a robust implementation and enforcement framework. More specifically to addressing issues around digital rights and embracing data for development, you need to ensure that we are looking at effective data minimization. We're looking at transparency and consent where there is the need for. We're looking at safety protection by design. So that means that we need to identify what the risks are and put in place mechanisms that actually address these risks and security issues that will come with the development and utilization of that data. You have to look at access controls and authentication mechanisms, data anonymization and pseudo-anonymization, and last but not the least, accountability and oversight. I think I would just use one word to just say that when it comes to South cooperation, we really need to ensure that we are using or leveraging our cooperation for knowledge sharing, promoting collaborative partnerships, particularly around enforcement, cooperation, capacity building to share experiences, and also to strengthen our institutions within the global South. I think I can end it here.
Thank you very much, Ms. Akwete, for that insight into how we can ensure rights for privacy and inclusivity in data development, and how this can be taken in our South-to-South governance and in building trust. Allow me also to bring on the panel now Jamie Proctor to give us a conversation on the question of what role can development partners play in fostering equitable data partnership amongst countries in the global South, and how it is the role of UK in such an area of investment. Over to you, Jamie Proctor.
Brilliant, thank you. That's 2 questions. Do you want me to do both of them at the same time? Thank you. Hi everybody, so just to say, my name is Jamie Proctor. I head up the UK's West Africa Research and Innovation Hub. I'm actually standing in today because our Development Director, Terry Sarch, is ill, so unable to attend. But my background's in digital, so I spent a lot of time with data. And getting the use of data is obviously totally vital for both economic growth as well as broader development. I like to think about it. My favorite data example is transport because it's we all use it and we see it day to day. So what that means in practice is that data drives us getting to where we want to go. And so in Accra, it means that data is there on Google Maps. You see those red lines when the traffic comes up, or in other cities it might be City Mapper or other apps. Now, with the introduction of AI, the data sets that are produced both by governments but also by companies and other organizations are really going to become ever more important. And the result of that is, one of our estimates is that for every $32 invested, you can get $1 back. And so thinking about that, I did the sums. It's like if you spend 5,000 cities, you get back 160,000 cities. So it really is a priority in this space for us. In terms of the role that development partners can play, 3 of the key ways that I've seen development partners kind of putting inputs into this space in a useful way are 1, helping make sure that data is saved in a usable and accessible format, and there's a whole lot of work around standards that sits underneath that. Another tranche of work which is around the processes and the methodologies to help making sure that data is used. One of the biggest kind of things that we need to try and avoid in this space is data that is collected and not used. And so actually that travel example is such a great example because the data is used by citizens immediately. It's then used by others, by policymakers and others to be able to make decisions. But if we can get that bang for buck on the data that we're collecting everywhere, we'll be getting a lot more value for money kind of in the space. And then the final one, I think, is helping and working with others to help drive the feedback loop between the people, be that a minister making a decision, citizens deciding things, or businesses that are using data, and then the organizations that are collecting data, and making sure that that feedback loop works so that one is delivering for the other. And I would put a lot of that in the framing of, I guess, straightforward, agile, user-centered design, but it does obviously have different roles within different agencies. So yes, that is my kind of, I guess, specific answer to that first question, is that 3 areas work for everybody really does work for everybody really does. Sorry. I was going to say that if you make things work for the most marginalized, they tend to work much better for everybody, and it's investment that we need to be making across the board. And we've also got to work through the drivers of duplication and fragmentation, which is really difficult in this space because it's not only a sector-specific thing that we're talking about here, but it happens in every single sector. And I've had very similar conversations. I spent a lot of time in education data, and that overlap is difficult to get right, and we need to keep talking to be able to make those systems work. So yes, the UK is supporting through this. We also worked through a coalition of governments, multilaterals and civil society organisations to launch the Sevilla Platform for Action initiative and the System Strengthening for Sustainable Finance. And through this, we will take forward commitments in this space, aiming to overcome fragmentation and short-term thinking ahead, future-proofing data investments, particularly in relation to AI developments in the world. And then finally, the point which is going to make or break the ability to deliver in this space is the political commitment and cross-sector coordination. So Ministry of Finance, Planning and Statistics coming together, backed by partners and investors committed to breaking silos and share accountability. And then I know your time is tight. I've got one final point, which is probably the most important, which I'll put up front, is that as much about what we're doing from the UK in this space, the approach to us is as important. The UK approach is grounded in genuine partnership and mutual respect. We work this way across the sectors that we're working in. That might be, we work with GRA on data analytics, or the Ministry of Education, their delivery unit, or of course with the Ghana Statistical Service. And within this kind of way of working in mutual respect, one of the things that we're really proud to have established is a set of peer-to-peer partnerships where civil servants in the UK work with civil servants in Ghana and other countries to be able to deliver on joint or work together on joint initiatives. And so that's happening with the Tax Authority, the HMRC in the UK, the National Audit Office, the Office for National Statistics, the Bank of England. And so, for example, the Office for National Statistics recently hosted senior leadership from Parliament and Ghana Statistical Service in the UK. And we think that this kind of drive towards more equitable partnership really is the future in this space and across development. So yeah, thank you very much for inviting me and us here today, and I hope you all do take away that commitment for the UK working together in equitable partnership on data across sections. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Jamie Proctor. I think you're leading us quite well into the next panel perspectives with the aspect of mutual partnerships, genuine and mutual partnerships. We would now like to hear from Ms. Diana Rogers-Odus, the Director of the Data Collection at the National Statistics Office in Colombia. She is an engineer by training and leads critical national initiatives, including economic census, multidimensional population surveys, ensuring robust and inclusive data gathering in the Colombia. So, Ms. Odus, we have 5 minutes with you and would like to hear from you, again building on what our colleague Mr. Proctor said. What do you pick from the Colombia-Ghana collaboration under the APC-supported Make Inclusive Data, the NORM initiative? What lessons have we learned from that, or has emerged from that, that will support, or rather that we can draw from this interregional cooperation between Colombia and Ghana in the aspect of data collection? And 2, how are you integrating citizens' perspective into national data initiatives?
Good. One of the main lessons learned from the initiative is that South-South cooperation not only shares methodologies, but also contexts and challenges that feel familiar to us. Other key lessons include, first, shared experience confirmed that information challenges in rural, ethnic, and vulnerable areas are similar across all 3 countries. For instance, CELSENS uses the measuring of gender-based violence representative of ethnic and indigenous communities in statistics, among others. Another challenge is territorializing and contextualizing international frameworks, such as the Copenhagen framework is essential for their effectiveness. Citizens need to understand the framework and see it as their own. Following this line, we have the use of language. All 3 countries share the same experience. We can only territorialize and foster citizen ownership of citizen data regulation if it is developed using clear and contextualized language. This will show an understanding and acknowledgement of the governance structure of each territory. For us, it has been also important to recognize others' work. From our peers from Kenya, We have learned that citizen-generated data are a key input of the integrated measuring of the SDGs. Moreover, their citizen data framework has been an important reference for one being developed in Colombia. From our colleagues from Ghana, we have learned the importance of using technological tools to measure complex phenomena, and their experience has been key to implementing projects such as AppDiversa. Finally, we have learned that innovation is not only high technology. It is based on integrating local knowledge with official statistics, recognizing and valuing that knowledge. Then, how are we integrating citizen perspectives into national data initiatives? In Colombia, citizen data projects have placed citizens at the center of the statistical cycle. Datos in Acción is the clearest example of direct participation. We are building the citizen data framework for Colombia, together with communities, grassroots organizations, and historically marginalized groups, ensuring that the priorities are directly included in the document and in the maturity model developed from the ideas. We have also integrated this perspective into initiatives like our vital statistical strategy for ethnic racial groups, in which midwives, community notifiers, and ethnic authorities register both births and deaths that are fed into our official system. Another one is the multidimensional Wayu register, designed jointly with indigenous authorities who have directly influenced tools such as the data collection to reflect their cultural and socioeconomic context. To mention as well, we have the collaborative mapping initiative. It harnesses local knowledge to improve geographic frameworks and support territorial planning. And last but not least, AppDiversa, which capture information on hard measure phenomena, such as discrimination, in a safe and inclusive way. In all cases, we apply a differential and intersectional approach, ensuring that the statistics reflect the country's diversity and become tools for more equitable policies.
Thank you very much. Quite a number of initiatives, both in the Colombia, but also in the partnership that APC has with Ghana and Kenya, and some of the benefits of that, or the lessons from that, and some of the challenges or pitfalls we need to pay attention to. We now move to our fourth panelist, Dr. McDonald Obudo, who is the Director General of the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. He has been with the Bureau for quite some time, since 1995, before his current role. He spearheaded Kenya's first digital census in 2019, and he brings extensive experience in statistical survey design, national accounting, and data systems leadership. Over to you, McDonald, and Dr. Obudo, and for you to inspire the gathering, but also share your lessons. We'd like to hear from you. Kenya is a key regional player in data and innovation. How is the country approaching cross-country learning and collaboration ahead of the Global Data Festival? And linked to that, what practical steps can be taken to make South-to-South cooperation on data more sustainable and impactful? Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the chance, and I'm looking at the forthcoming Data Festival in Nairobi to be a chance to recognize the opportunities to highlight the power of data. This is also meant to drive forward the inclusive data agenda, which we believe that if achieved, then no one will be left behind. Now, in our case, in terms of preparation to the event, the government has come up with a very strong committee at the national level, bringing on board different players to be part of it, and it is headed by Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Then we have the State Department for Economic Planning, where the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics reports to, being part of it. And so with that kind of partnership, plans are underway just to ensure that all issues that are required, not just on the technical bit of it, but even the logistical issues are taken care of. So it is already on. On the Bureau side, we have the Kenya Strategy for Development of Statistics, the KSDS, which then puts together the strategic plans for all the players within the national statistical system in terms of the statistical operation over a period of 5 years. And so in the current SDS, which is the second one in the country, we have brought on board the element of the festival that is upcoming, so that we can be held accountable in delivering it. And normally what we do for such a kind of activities, we report to the board of directors every 3 months. So it is one of the things that we keep on taking to the board just to see, so that they evaluate the progress that are being made and ensure that we are on course. So that is already happening. We are also trying to ensure that internally all members of staff are aware of the event, including the support staff. You know, you could do everything right, but that fellow whom you think is the smallest in the organization would make you fail in a big way if the fellow does not understand the importance of what you are doing. And so we are trying to bring on board all the players so that they understand what is happening. And secondly on that is to ensure that the technical officers, through the technical meetings that they keep on having in the various fields, ensure that they are able to get what we should be showcasing come that time. So because we have a number of technical committees that are meeting regularly for different sectors of the economy that where we are collecting data, we are engaging them along that line. Then the other thing that we have also done is to figure out what is it that we could do, what kind of activities that we need to get involved in that would bring out the issues that are related to the event. And so one of the things that we did was to come up with the Data Science Center. The government did not have resources to do that, but we approached one of the bilateral partners, and this is Statistics Sweden, to set up the center for us, which they happily took up and set up a good center for us, which then we have been having interns coming on board. But so this time, because of the activity that is ahead of us, we have ensured that those who are coming in are actually people who are concerned about the data science. And so we are only bringing on board interns that relate to the data science. Whether you are economist, a statistician, actuarial scientist, or a GIS expert, we only need those who are in that line. And so what we have done with them is to have, again, that is also courtesy of Statistics Sweden. They hire for us interns. We have been having 8, but this time we have enhanced it to 12, so that we take them through some processes, bring on board experts who can facilitate the key areas of interest. Then we link them to different technical areas to learn what they are doing, and so then bring on board the element of data science, how we can now tackle challenges that we are currently facing that have been a problem to manage. So having understood what is expected of them, they then go understand what technical areas require, then they come back and work around those areas. And so we expect to get quite a bit of work in those areas that would help us do the showcasing. We are also engaging the youth. We have Kenyan youths who are learned. Unfortunately, in some cases, there are no jobs. But these are guys who are very active. We're engaging them just to pick on the technological skills that they have to showcase in different areas. We are also working with the academia, the universities, also to look into areas that they could also be showcasing on. And so it's a process that is on, that should be able to help us have a good event come that time. But don't forget that this is one of this is one of the areas where we are also learning, getting to see how this pre-event has been organized right from the time that we came in. You know, we are learning. Yeah, we are learning, and thank you, GSS, for doing this. We appreciate the work that you've done, and you know, we get a lot of comfort from our brothers and sisters from Colombia. Last year they hosted the UN World Data Forum. I think I took a large team. We were about 10 of us or more. Took a large team there to learn. And the process is still on. And so we, you know, when we see them, and you know, getting to hear from them, that comfort is there because they were very successful in doing that event. And so we believe that we'll be able to undertake this one with ease because the support is around us. Not forgetting the big partner, GPSDD, that keeps on involving us in ensuring that we are well taken care of in terms of learning, in terms of organizing this activity. And so this is where we are, which we believe will be able to make us very successful. In terms of the practical steps that taken to make South-South cooperation on data and to be more sustainable and have impact. We have been having a number of South-South cooperation, and one case in mind is the project that was initiated by GPSDD called the Making Inclusive Data the Norm. And this project, the Bureau is actually leading it, but there are a number of players within it, a number of non-state actors participating in it. It is actually focusing on the area of gender, the area of disability, then the citizen-generated data. Again, this is an area that Ghana has done very well in, Colombia has done very well in, and Kenya is another country that is mentioned when it comes to CGD practice. And so we are in it already, just to make sure that things are running. We are also incorporating the South-South learning within our KSDG that I mentioned, just to ensure that we are able to keep on reporting. We look at the areas of weaknesses where opportunities are there in the statistical system and the data system, just to see which areas could we then require some learning so that we are able to get better. Beyond that is collaboration with a number of stakeholders. We have World Bank that has been supporting us in a number of areas. We are working with Statistical Sweden. And
beautiful illustrations
I'm just
initiatives.
I'm just finalizing. It's only that the question was a bit loaded and required a lot of information. And the fact that...
Beautiful illustration of the key initiatives to sustain South-to-South collaboration, but also showing to us the preparations Kenya has made towards the Global Data Festival. And I think that connects us quite well to the next presenter, Dr. Claire Melamed, the CEO of the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development, who needs no further introduction because she was introduced earlier on. We'll then make a closing remark and extend invitation to the Global Data Festival 2026. Claire, over to you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to stand up because I can't see those people over there in the corner hidden here. So thank you so much to all the speakers on this fantastic panel, and thank you to all of the amazing speakers, the participants, all of you who have been sitting and who I've been overhearing some of the amazing conversations that happened in the coffee break. It has been truly a group effort. I know it took an amazing team to bring it together, who I can tell you were here until about 11 o'clock last night, putting together all of this backdrop that we see. So if we can please just have a round of applause for our organizing team. I suspect that many of them were not in the room to hear that because they're off organising something, but we're extremely grateful to them. I think today, what we've heard today, I think, has been really the very best of us as a community. We've seen the commitment of our political leaders. We've heard the practical solutions that we all have brought into this room to roll up our sleeves and solve these problems together. And through being here together and being in this room together this morning, we've felt, I think, and experienced in a very visceral way the power of partnership. And this is what drives what we've heard about so many times today, this morning, the power of data to really help to drive the progress, which I think for all of us is what motivates us, is what makes us want to do this work. This is what progress looks like. It looks like many things, many of the things that we see when we speak to partners, many of the things that we read about in the newspapers, but this is also what progress looks like. People sitting together, solving problems together, affirming their commitment to each other, sharing their knowledge, which helps us to go out in the world and achieve those practical things that we all know that we must. So I have 3 invitations for you to take this work onwards, to continue with these partnerships. And in reverse chronological order, let me first, as just pick up where MacDonald left off, and invite you to join us in Nairobi to advance inclusive governance, sustainable systems, solutions, all of the things that we've been talking about today. That is where we can come together as an even larger and more powerful community and help to drive this work forward in all of the myriad ways that coming together in person can help us to do. If you're sitting here and you're inspired to help us to actually run the festival, to host a roundtable, to fund a session, to offer some training, to bring a national showcase or some of the things that you are most excited about in your organization and your community, we really want to hear from you. This has to be a group effort putting this event together. So in whatever way you would like to help us to put this festival together, come and experience it with us and build the community that way. A little closer to home, from 1 p.m, I'm very happy to invite you to join us for lunch, to take forward this conversation in a more informal setting, to pick up on some of the things that you've heard today, to perhaps catch some people who you wanted to hear a little bit more from, and we're keen to follow up with ideas for collaboration, for partnership, for taking the work forward. And right now, let me invite you to join to hear from some of our amazing partners outside in the showcase session. I think we've heard scattered through all of the various presentations today, some tantalizing glimpses of some of the amazing innovations and solutions that are happening here in this country. And we have assembled outside an amazing group of innovators who will walk you through exactly what they're doing, how it came about, the specific problems that they're solving, the challenges they're facing, ways to work with them in partnership and take the work forward. So I really encourage you to go and talk to people, find out a little bit more, think through the implications for your own work, and take advantage of the wealth of talent and expertise and dynamism that we have here in this room. And I believe that they will be setting up just outside, a little bit to the left. So please do go and take that opportunity. And, it's, I think, as we think about this event, which is really just the start, this is not the end, this is very much the start of something. It's the beginning of the road to the festival. It's one of the steps that we've taken. We've been on this journey together now for quite a long time. We're working together under the power of data and many other initiatives and projects that we work together. So I'm certainly leaving today with a renewed determination to make data work for people, which in the end, it all comes down to people. And to show in Nairobi what the leadership from Ghana, from across the region, can achieve together for people, for all of the countries in the region, and for the world. I wish you a very pleasant afternoon, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Melamed, and thank you very much, panelists. Can we give another round of applause for them? I know that all ably delivered on the content of their component. I will not do so much, but just pick one or two highlights from each of them as part of the summary, and then we close it from that point. I think we heard from Ms. Akwete that we need a solid foundation of a good legal regime, well-resourced, with regulator to enforce the aspect of privacy, digital rights, and inclusivity. And we also need to leverage cooperation for knowledge sharing, capacity building, to ensure that we strengthen the governance and build trust in digital ecosystem. Jamie, thank you very much. You made the case for investment in data and the return of investment that we would get if we were to invest in data. I would like to say, if you took my friend Idrisu here, I buy a 10-meter yard of cloth, but I'll only use 2 meters of cloth. I've wasted it. But if I have the data of his measurements, I would have only bought 2 meters of cloth and not 10 meters of cloth. So unpacking the investment case could be as simple as that data, when it is well presented, helps to target and optimize cost and save us a lot of things. So thank you very much for that. And of course, the use of use and accessibility to data format, as well as the feedback loop that would inform design policies and also get back to the people who benefit from the services. And finally, the aspect of political commitment and the need for genuine partnerships and mutual respect in the scaling up aspect of data. We move to our friend, Ms. Odus, who shared with us very rich experience of the work they're doing to make inclusive data the norm in Colombia, in partnership with Ghana, in partnership with Kenya, and what are some of the benefits we get, as well as the pitfalls to watch while walking that road of partnership and making inclusive data the norm. Thank you. We came to our friend, Dr. Obudo. He has elaborated the preparations they've made to welcome us well into Nairobi come 2026, all the amazing things they're doing. But he also took us a bit into what to be done to ensure that we sustain South-to-South cooperation on data as we begin the learning from the partnership that we've been building here, including issues of the South-to-South cooperation, deepening it, perhaps developing other aspects to that, and working with academia to build institutional technical knowledge and training of young people to help us in this direction. And of course, our host and the lead of the global partnership has made the strong invitation for all of us to join the Global Data Festival in Nairobi, but she also invited us to be participants in the design and in the delivery of the partnership. So let's all look forward to going to Nairobi, and let's join hands to show the Global South leadership on data revolution. And let's also show the experience of what South-to-South and interregional collaboration can bring to enhance the power of data. Thank you, everyone, and thank you to the panel again. We come to a close of our segment.
Thank you very much. A bigger round of applause for Dr. Chan and his team. We're super grateful. We'll now take some photographs, ladies and gentlemen. Whilst you're there, I would like to make a few announcements. So we're still very much within time. We said we're going to have lunch at 1, and we will have lunch at 1. We will spend about 30 minutes or so going through the different innovations that you've heard us talk about, the showcasing bits, after which each of you will be given a coupon. That is what will take you to lunch on the 3rd floor. The Colombians and the Kenyan delegation, there is a bus that will take you on a tour to the Ghana Statistical Service. So that will be right after lunch. The bus departs at exactly 2 p.m. So please make sure you have lunch on time so that you can come down. The same way you entered this building, that's where you're exiting, and that's where the bus will be. Okay. So from here, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you to our wonderful moderator.
Thank you for having me. So the final thing that I would say is on behalf of the Ghana Statistical Service and, of course, the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, I would like to say thank you for allowing me to MC this meeting. I guess it will be see you in Nairobi, Kenya then. Enjoy the innovation. Thank you all for your presence and your participation. Enjoy the rest of the show.